What's going on, y'all? A-Stock here, going to be talking about this story that broke with a guy named Matt Walsh. He has some controversial things to say in regards to young women and certain ages that isn't really legal, if we're going to be honest, that they're more fertile for pregnancy. And also some other shit he said about arranged marriages too, but we'll tackle both of his arguments separately.
It is not. In fact, ever since the beginning of time, teenage girls have been getting pregnant. It used to be more common. The peak, ever since they started keeping records of these things, which they only started doing recently, like in the 20th century, but ever since they started keeping records, in 1957 was the peak for teenage pregnancy. 1957. Not 2009,
well, back
not
then,
today.
All of them were supposed to have kids. Like, that's when you had kids.
That's my point, okay? So to all of a sudden act like this phenomenon of girls getting pregnant at a young age that we consider young, 16 or 17, to act like it's a new thing is ridiculous. It's always been that way. Even biologically, and this is me just stating, right now I'm going to start by just stating facts. So fact number one, it's not a new phenomenon. Fact number two, in fact, it's a phenomenon that was more common earlier in history, and for the first 6,000 to 10,000 years of human existence, it was a normal thing. Fact three, girls between the ages of like 17 and 24 is when they're technically most fertile.
Yeah.
Okay? That's biological. That's a fact, all right? I'm just stating facts. That's all I'm doing. But what happened recently, and this is the fourth fact, recently in the last 30 years or so, we decided that that's way too young to start a family.
Why?
And because now
divorce rates would probably go up, and once you're that young, you can't really make sure that you know.
No, girls are no.
Because girls were getting married early, and marriages were lasting longer. You very rarely hear about like these relationships that go to their your diamond anniversary, your 50th anniversary, and all this. That's a dying breed of people out there.
Yeah, and those were all people that got married very young. That's why
they're still alive.
Yeah, that's why you can have someone in their 70s who's celebrating their 55th wedding anniversary because they got married when they were teenagers. So what I'm saying is that the problem is not per se teenage pregnancy, it's unwed pregnancy. That's the problem in society. It's only problematic when you are not married and you don't have the man there to help you take care of the kids because he's a coward. And the reason why we have that now are for two reasons. Because we have in current society, we live in the age of extended adolescence.
And apparently what he just said was an excerpt taken from when he was back in his shock jock radio days. But here's the thing. Nobody who is 16, 17 should be trying to have kids. And to sit here and say things like 16, 17-year-olds or more are the most fertile is insane. Yes, did it happen back then? Yes, it happened back then. But that don't make it right to go around trying to knock up a chick who's 16, 17, marry somebody who's that young. That was a different time. What was cool then is not cool today. You can't be out here trying to wed an underage girl. You even have states that have passed laws and legislation where you could legally mess with somebody that young, which is insanity. And for Matt Walsh to say something like that even back then was asinine because it's not a cool thing to do. Like nowadays, somebody tries to say that they would rather, want to date somebody underage, they would be looked at crazy, as they should, and put them on the freaking list ASAP. But let's hear what this guy had to say about arranged marriages.
Now, on the complete opposite end of this spectrum are arranged marriages. Instead of a boundless, never-ending buffet of options, a young person in a culture that practices arranged marriages will be assigned just one, and they don't even make the choice. Their families just pair them up and say, here you go. There's far less freedom and far less autonomy in a system of that sort, but it is without a doubt superior to our system. We would be happier. Every person in the dating scene right now would be happier if they were just matched up with someone against their will. What? What the
having someone married against their will is illegal. Like, I'm not sure. That is absolutely illegal and crazy for Matt Walsh to say earlier this year. See, what Matt Walsh is not going to tell you is that arranged marriages only work in the East for a reason. And they are from a different culture. But would it be the first time that white folks have taken something from a different culture or somebody else's culture just to adapt it or adopt it as their own? No. At the same time, an arranged marriage in a Western society would never work. And I don't want to get biblical here, but if you remember a phrase from the book of Revelations that goes like this: brother against brother. That is what you would have in a scenario if you have arranged marriages against their will. You know how, like, I guarantee you, with arranged marriages in the United States, violence would be up, crime would be up. I think divorce rates would be higher. And if you want to point out if they're successful or not, all right, cool. But think about this for a second. If white folks had arranged marriages, let's be specific, racist white folks, if they had arranged marriages, you have any idea what type of spouse, what type of groom they'd pick for their kids? It would be somewhat equally racist, if not more prejudiced than they are. And that's not a good thing. Let me just tell you. Because let's say if there's a racist family that comes along and you have one kid, not racist, and wants to marry outside their race, you know what happens? They either get threatened to get killed or disowned. Forcing someone against their will to marry somebody that they don't want to be with, that they don't like, or that they're not attracted to is crazy. And I'm gonna be honest with you, we're in the West. So if you think for 1 second anybody's son or daughter is gonna be cool with you forcing them, handpicking them a wife, handpicking them a husband, they're not going to be cool with that. They're going to say, fuck you, fuck him. I'm going to do what the fuck I want to do, okay? Because this is the United States of America. It would go against what United States stands for, which is freedom. So you want us to be living in a free country, but not really live by a free doctrine of marriage. And I'm going to be honest with you. If hypothetically there was arranged marriages being happening in the United States, I think if you ask me, if you don't want to be with that person, cheat on them. Cheat on them. Cheat on them in the arranged marriage. That may sound bizarre. That may sound nuts. But I'm only specifically saying if it was something that was adopted in Western society, if it was adopted here and you didn't want to be with that person, your parents made you, your parents coerced you into doing it, I say sign some NDAs and just have some escorts or whatever. If somebody tried to handpick me a wife, I would religiously cheat. It would be nothing but scorched earth. All right. It would be nothing but scorched earth. That wouldn't bring peace, but just problems. Nothing but problems. Because nobody's going to agree, especially people who are young, 18, out of high school, they're going to agree to marry somebody against their will in the United States. Yeah, I believe that when I start seeing pigs flying. But y'all let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Till next time, it's been H-Dog here, and I'm out. Peace.